We are live here. It's Michelle Alcorn from Atlantic Canada Cooks, and I am in beautiful Cabo Negro, Morocco, right on the Mediterranean Sea. And what you can't see, not far behind me, is a beautiful ocean. But in front of me is what's far more important. And today we're going to talk about some of the most traditional foods, sweets, and pastries, breads, that are incredibly important in the food culture here in Morocco, as they are around the world. But I hope today you see some of the uniqueness and the very beautiful things that we're about to explore together. And we have some things from a couple of different cities, because as usual, I am eating and drinking my way across Morocco. So let's start with something that we need. I'm not doing the traditional Moroccan tea this morning, but what I have here is a beautiful tea, and I'm going to get it started so it can steep. And this is available at Dahab Coffee, so thank you to the team at Dahab. It's a beautiful blend and a mixture. In here, you're going to see star anise. We have some rose hips, cardamom, cinnamon, and some other dried herbs and seasoning. And we're going to take these. I've just got a little bit in the bottom of my cup here. And I've got some nice hot water. And what we're going to do is we're just going to get that hot water in here. So that way, what a beautiful drink. Just like everything here. When you come up, you start and you can smell and then you can see all of the beautiful places. Unbelievable. So we're going to set this down here. And we're going to let that just steep a little bit so we can get that richness and flavor. I want to say thank you so much. Hi to our YouTube audience and our Zoom audience. And you have an opportunity each week, subscribe to our newsletter, and you can come on in and experience a little bit closer Zoom, and definitely follow along on our YouTube. We've got some other great adventures. And this week, I was very privileged, actually 2 weeks ago, to be in Nador, Morocco. And you're going to see a wonderful video where I recorded me making an apple crisp with maple. But you know what? Today is all going to be about Moroccan flavors. And one of those most important things is honey. And I love it because so much of the sweets here are sweetened with honey. And we're going to show you some of those beautiful sweets today. And bear with me while I get all of these accurate. And I'm going to have a laugh with our Zoom audience. We love it for the interaction. Just remember to hit your mute button so that we can keep focused. So there are many places across this country that really the chefs and the pastry chefs put so much love into everything. Beautiful martille this morning. And wait till we unveil the selection that's in here. But let's start with a little bit of sweet. And it's merendina. So in the afternoon, it's so traditional to have some beautiful fresh tea and get many sweets, savory, and on the sweeter side. And we're going to be exploring some of those things as I have out here. Another one of the restaurants that we went to in Tétouan, we really want to say thank you to Maison Rotterdam. We love it when we see newcomers and immigrants come in and bring some of their flavor and flair. And we have some of these briquettes. So inside of each one of these is different spices, flavors, and seasoning. I love these little ones. I'm just going to push this off to the side because don't worry, we're going to unwrap this box together so that we can have a really good look at what's in these. And I want to say hi to all of our Canadian friends, because these are like what we would call a mini English muffin. And I love it. But inside of this one is stuffed with beautiful cheese and ground meat, or here we would say kefta. All the flavors and that taste of Morocco with this wonderful fresh muffin, as we would call it. But it's like a bread or a flatbread with a bit of the cornmeal on top. Incredible flavors. And it's funny because I would like to take a bite of everything, but I think I'd be very full by the end of it. The other thing that you're going to see everywhere, and I love this, I remember growing up as kids, we did a lot of these incredible mini pizzas. And I have to say, the pastry that's on the bottom of these is incredible. Let's just take this one open. And you want them warmed up a bit so that you can have a look. But let's have a look at that. Look at the cheese. There's so many ingredients here. There's onions. There's a beautiful tomato sauce. Actually, there's 3 different types of cheese on top of this. And then I can see some peppers, herbs, and of course, olives, because olives are absolutely amazing. But I'm going to sneak a little bite of this one. Oh, a little bite. I'll be definitely finishing this one afterwards. What they've used on this particular one is a crust that's a little bit more like a croissant. So it's layers and layers of that light, flaky pastry. That's absolutely incredible. I'm going to sneak that olive. So good. But I'm going to get this one cut open so that you can have a really good look on the inside of it. And again, this is like a phyllo dough that's on the outside. Wow. Look at this. The layers of flavor that goes through this. You can see the chicken and all of the different seasoning and spices that goes into this. So remember, in the afternoon usually, because there's breakfast and lunch, and it's merienda. So this is fun. Michelle's working on it, and that's a Spanish more influence, but merienda, which I love because it's like a merry end of the day. And this is what we would have prior to eating a larger meal later at night. Now, you see how flaky this pastry is? You want to warm these up just a little bit in the oven. But you know, I'm going to have another little taste of this. Oh. There's a sweetness in this. They've added just a little bit of honey in the inside of it. And you've got the savory and the sweet blend in your mouth. Absolutely incredible. I'll be really enjoying that one later. So there's another, this is a pancake. And I have to look, and it's a paradilla. And I want, I've got my backup Moroccan team here making sure of my pronunciation, which is really fun considering I'm also here with Atlantic Canada Language Academy promoting our English programs. And the really cool thing about this pancake, and I'm going to just flip it over, is you're going to see how light it is and all of the little holes that are in it. What I love about this is those are perfectly designed. And sometimes this is eaten with honey. Other times you can use some olive oil. So I like to have a pancake or a pastry that you can use sweet or you can use on the savory side. And it's perfect with some drizzled honey, and you can roll that up and you have a delicious bite. I'm going to be enjoying those a little later. So on my left here, we have a much larger tray with a lot more of the sweet side. But let's take a little bit more savory exploration. But you know what? I'm going to hold my tea up because look at this. Look at the beautiful colors that are inside of this now. The aroma is absolutely unbelievable. I really can smell the star anise. That's amazing. So let's set this over here. This little package here, I'm going to be saving this one for last. I'm going to move this over. So I feel like I was in Disneyland for a food lover when I walked in this morning to this unbelievable restaurant. And they are very much known for having the top quality, not just in this region, but across Morocco. And this is definitely going to be an unbelievable taste. So let's have a close look at what's inside this amazing box. And you're going to see different colors, different textures, and a lot of different pastries and doughs that are used. So let's unpack this one together and have a little bit of a flavor tour. And yes, it does weigh a good amount. So I'm just going to hold this up here. In here, we're going to have a few more of those beautiful pizzas. And again, that's made with a puff pastry bottom. Look at that. Those are incredible. Add these over here. And this is probably one of my favorite. I've been eating a few of these in the last few days. And this one here is called a vol au vent. And holding that one up, it is unbelievable how they get that puff pastry so perfect. And it's got a layer, hopefully you can see a bit of that glaze across the top. And they've layered it with just a little bit of shouya honey and a little bit of cheese on top. Now I'm going to cut one of these open, but I want to bring over this partner, what they have put inside of this one. And I love how they've adapted the shape to be square. The same beautiful puff pastry, but inside of this one is some shrimp, or you would often hear us say cravat. One of the things about Moroccan, when you travel here in Morocco, is you're going to hear Arabic, of course, French, some Spanish influence. And I love it because I'm from New Brunswick, and that's a bilingual province. So I'm understanding most of my French words. So let's start with cutting this beautiful shrimp in half. Wow, look at the layers, perfectly cooked. The other thing that's on top of this one is a little bit of a sauce. And we love to say food is meant to be sauced here, but it has a bechamel sauce on the inside. Oh my goodness, that smells absolutely amazing. Now, this other one, as I've been eating a lot, in the center of it is not only a cheese, but a natural cheese. And I think what's super important is so many of the beautiful natural ingredients. Wow. Look at this. You can see every single layer. So I can't resist but to have a bite of this one. Oh. Look at the flakiness. Once you bring them home, just a cup, and those are ready for you to have. Wow. I think I know what I'm going to be eating today for all three of my meals as we work our way through this. So I'm going to get a couple of these ones out. And what I love of this one, you can see it's fried. So versus baked, this one goes into the deep fryer. And again, the sweet and the savory. These are more on the savory side. Wow. Love it. Inside of the middle of this one, we've got a little bit of beef, a little bit of chicken, but the vermicelli noodles. I only bought 2 of those, and I think Michelle's going to be eating both of those too. Wow. I love the flavor. Love the vermicelli in there. Let's have a little sup of tea. So that we can enjoy a little bit more of these. So you're going to see the yellow coloring in here. And that's where you're going to see a lot of turmeric that's used. They've used a phyllo pastry that's on that to wrap that with many layers. And that has huge chunks of roasted chicken. And it's a slow roasted chicken. I can see some olives in here. Wow. Thank you so much to the bakers and the chefs that are creating this all over the world. They get up very early in the morning so that we can enjoy these incredible flavors. Of the different seasoning that you're going to taste in this one versus here. I think the flavors, a little bit of a flavor party going on in my mouth right now. So let's go back to my box of surprises here. And we have just a couple more that I want to show. And before we move over to our sweet side, This one I actually tasted last week, and I love it. You're going to see we've got a beautiful pastry that they've used on the bottom. Again, it's full of layers. But what's really, really unique, so you can have a look, this has chicken, mushrooms, with a really beautiful bechamel sauce. So that means it's going to have a lot of richness in the flavor. I'm going to use my knife. Oh, wow. Look at that. And I'm counting it. I didn't ask the chef today, but I think there's at least 3 different types of cheese in this one. Wow. It's like a little mini chicken pot pie that we would have in Canada, but very elevated, topped off with some fresh parsley. Oh my goodness, those are so delicious. I'm having a hard time not eating all of this. And now again, we're gonna go back to this one, and it has a little bit of cornmeal on it. Again, that phyllo pastry was used, but this one is deep fried. Some of them are baked, some are deep fried. And I can tell you they're using fresh oils, and you can tell just by the quality. Ooh. Now this one. We've got a lot of extra vegetables. You can see the colors in there, the carrots. And I think there's some, oh, there's definitely lots of herbs and spices in here as well. Entirely different flavor. I hope you can hear those birds going by. The view that I have right now of the mountain in behind, nature everywhere. Would you believe this morning when we were driving back, we had to stop for the sheep to cross. But of course, I got out to take a picture. This has a bit of a spice in it too. So we're definitely going to be elevating Michelle's palate with some of the spicier flavor on that one. So before we end our savory tour and take over to this beautiful tray beside me and have a little fun with the sweet side, and it's my goal while I'm here, is to learn how to make this one. And it's a pastilla or a bustilla. You'll hear it referred to as both sort of pronunciations, depending on the region you are. Now, this is a little mini one, but I can tell you something. When you go to someone's house or a restaurant, the one that you're going to get is about the same size as this plate beside me. Huge. You can see how they're perfectly wrapped. Down here on the bottom, it's like a little present. Now, this takes hours to make. And I think it's really important to understand the amount of time and love that goes into creating these dishes. And they don't happen overnight. Wow. You can see the layer of pastry here. This is definitely where savory and sweet come together in this magical combination in your mouth. You'll often find 2 unique flavors in the pastilla. This particular one is chicken, but you're also going to see a beautiful one with fish. And I must remind everybody, when you come here on your next vacation, especially if you are a seafood and a fish lover, this is one of the best places in the world to taste those things. And I hope you trust me, because I grew up right on the ocean in Atlantic Canada, on the Atlantic Ocean, where I also had the privilege of having some of the best seafood and fish. So this is beautiful. On the top of it, there's some almonds, and sometimes it's drizzled with a little bit of honey or topped with a few other seasonings, but I'm definitely going to go in for a bite of this. I'm just going to keep smiling because the flavor in here is so smooth. The chicken has been slow cooked and shredded. And then there's layers where there's some nuts. And again, a little bit of the sweet that's in there. It's the perfect combination before you're ending and going over to your sweet tray. one more bite of my pastilla. So we were talking about merienda and sharing of all of these wonderful briottes and sweets. Baby showers, weddings, very traditional to bring out trays of these with some tea and just to stop to take time to celebrate the activities that you're working on. And I am going to be sharing these with some of our great friends. And I already know that they're getting ready for an upcoming wedding that's going to be happening. And those preparations take a very long time. So we're going to move this tray out of the way. I'm going to change trays. One more really good lick. And don't worry, I'll finish those up, Mom. I know my mom's here, my Aunt Greta, many other of our guests and friends from all over the world on our Zoom audience and YouTube. And how can you not smile when this tray is in front of you? And I want to say, again, a big thank you to everybody at Sicodel Kitchen in Nador. This beautiful tray was a gift. And I had the privilege of cooking with them, as I said, in their kitchen. And the displays were equally as beautiful. So I hope you're checking out and following along on our YouTube channel. And I was so excited this morning when we went in to see these beautiful sweets. And it is a layer of chocolate with variety of nuts and more chocolate on top. And Aziran Sweets, hi, Briham, in Moncton. I had the opportunity to learn how to make this one recently. And it is one of my absolute favorites. But I'm going to save the bite of that one for after. So you're going to see, traditional things that we would have at home in Canada or in pastry places all over the world. But this particular cookie, the Meluza, we also featured this recently on Atlantic Canada Cooks. But I am excited to try this particular one. It's still in the same family. This one does not have the walnut on top, but the shape of it and how the extra care is taken. So let's break this one open together and try it. Wow. I can already smell the lemon. Actually, I think it's got a little bit of an orange in there too. Wow. And some of the rose water is often used. And the inside of it is a little bit like a cake. Wow. That flavor and the lemon on the back end of it is absolutely unbelievable on your palate. I know I could eat 10 to 12 of these, but we're going to put this one back. So let's show a couple of these. This is made out of a lot of different types of nuts. And it's interesting because we were talking about the importance of nuts and health. So it's important to eat a few nuts every day. Why not eat your nuts in the shape of a cookie? I'm going to pull this one open. And you can only imagine, look at how perfect each and every one of those are, all the way around it. Top and bottom. A lot of care went into baking this cookie. Wow, watch this. Oh, I think this will replace some of the protein bars that I've been eating. Okay. Michelle's going to be getting a new favorite cookie. What's holding this cookie together, though, is dates. And dates are one of nature's perfect sweeteners, along with honey, maple, which comes from a tree. But that's where you get the ooey, gooey, chewy, is those dates that are in there. We all know where Michelle's going to be when we finish off this episode. I'm still going to be eating. These other cookies here, you're often going to see these, especially at weddings, and I've had the opportunity to attend a few, but I love it. This one, they put almonds on the outside, and this one, hopefully you can see the pattern. There's so much care that goes into each one of these. And I'm smiling. I hope you can hear the cat behind me meowing. Hello to the cats of Morocco. We've got cats always running around here, enjoying everything that they have. Look at this. And it's a beautiful paste, which traditionally is made with almonds and some other nuts. Wow. It has a crispy outside, but a really soft filling that's in the middle. And I want to say that they're not too sweet. You know, sometimes when you have cookies, your palate will get overwhelmed with the sugar. Definitely not here. So we're going to wrap up with a few of these other sweets. Michelle's going to take a taste of her tea, though, because I think I need to clean my palate just a little bit. What I love about this tea is as you go to take a sip, the aroma awakens up everything in your palate, and then that comes through. I think it's going to enhance the different flavors we have here. So we were just talking about weddings and baby showers and gifts. This particular bread is a focaccia bread, and it is often given as a gift, or when you're leaving a wedding or a pre-party for the wedding, we'll get these focaccia. And it's a much harder bread. There we go. Look how beautiful that is. And inside of it, there's sesame seeds, other different things, but it's so white. That's what I love about it. So it's a different type of flour that's used, and it's a much denser bread. Again, delicious. We're going to save tasting every one of them because there's one here I definitely want to taste. So I say there's a lot of love in Morocco, and there we go. There's a big heart. This is a beautiful pastry. I want to show the bottom. It's perfectly cooked. And again, we're using a puff pastry. And when I cook with puff pastry at home, I'm buying it in a package. I know that these chefs have taken the time to make this layer by layer. And look at the detail. I've got a little bit of icing sugar on this side, and this side just has the nuts on it. And I know that's gonna, oh, that's what I wanted it to do. Look at this. The layers. Oh. Okay. That just melts in my mouth. I have not tried this one before today. That's amazing. The pastry just almost disappears when you're eating it. What a wonderful flavor. And let's say a traditional croissant. I want to show you just how soft these are. And when we were standing today at the bakery, a whole tray of these came out fresh. So I couldn't resist it. Inside of this one is some beautiful chocolate. And over here, apples. Apples are a big part of the culture here. And I love the way this one has been layered perfectly. And the care and attention that went into making this is unbelievable. I'm just going to take a bite of this one. Wow. That apple, there's cinnamon. I think there's a tiny bit of nutmeg in there. And you get that really nice fruit, natural flavor. I'm going to have a hard time not eating all of this. But let's just say I definitely am going to do some walking today. So as we wrap up our sweet side, I'm going to end off with this beautiful one. We did a tour in Tangier this week, and the Medina tour. Stay tuned. You're going to have an amazing video coming up that we're working on. You saw a lot of old and new. And look at this particular one. It's a chocolate cake on the bottom with a pistachio cream. Pistachios very carefully placed. You know these are handcrafted. There isn't a machine in the world that could do this. And on the top of it, a tiny little bit of gold. And I feel like it's like a crown to celebrate the kingdom here in Morocco. So this is going to be our crowning end. It wouldn't be proper for me to be in Morocco and not talk about bread or hobs. This is the other thing that you're going to have with every meal. And you're going to eat this. You're going to use the bread as your fork, which I've been quite enjoying. But in here, we have much more of our traditional bread, unbelievably fresh. But this is a new one, and I love it because it's a multi-grain. It has oats and sesame seeds and flaxseed with some chia. It has all the beautiful flavors. And again, just a nice additional with some extra healthy pieces in there. Okay. I'm excited to try this bread. You can see it's a sourdough type of bread, a little firmer. And what's inside of this is some unbelievable olives. Wow. And when you see the color of the bread, this is when they're using natural flours. So not all bleached, so you're getting it as it was intended to be. So look at that. Look at those unbelievable olives. So I hope you have enjoyed a Moroccan sweet and savory tour. And please take time to book your merienda with your friends and family and enjoy a beautiful cup of tea, coffee, and get some more great sweets into your life. Find your local baker wherever they are. And if you're very lucky to have a Moroccan baker in your hometown, if you're not in Morocco, find them and take a tour of Morocco. We'll see you again next week as we explore more Morocco and soon back in Canada. From Michelle's Morocco to you, thank you so much for joining us today.